All right, so welcome to another video. Today we're going to go ahead and give you two simple ways to be able to figure out if your stock is in a trend, or even just spot to see if your stock is trending either to the upside or downside, because sometimes we are in choppy markets, and that's what we're going to be covering in this video. I know you might be struggling in that, so let's get started. We're going to go ahead and kick things off, and if you want to connect with me, you can do so on Discord. You can also check out our website at tradersfly.com. There's a lot of classes that we usually do, so definitely check out these resources. There's also a lot of great freebies there as well. So hope to see you there, whether it's in the Discord where you can ask some questions, or on the website and join us for a live session, or even connect with me one-on-one from a coaching standpoint. Okay, let's get started. We're going to go ahead and give you two easy ways to be able to see if your stock is in a trend. One way to really do it is through moving averages. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to show you kind of moving averages stacked. Now, the moving averages that I do or use right now in this example, I've got a moving average of 10, 21, 34, 55, 89, and 144. This is the TC2000 platform. Of course, you could use other platforms. This is just the one I like. You could use TradingView, Webull, and many others. Now, I have these are basically Fibonacci moving averages, at least most of them, not the 10, but many of the other ones are. And what you can see here is I've got these moving averages kind of stacked. And by stacked, I'm saying, hey, if they go one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, and so on. So basically the shortest day is above the longest duration. So you can see there's the trend taking the low to the high. We're moving to the upside, and one is on top of the other. So what does not a trend look like? Okay, so as you can see, these are still in a trend, up until where these other moving averages now start crossing over. So take a look here as we look into this time frame. This is on Facebook. We're starting to cross and get a little bit more nasty, or it just gets more cluttered. And with the clutter there, we're now not in a trend. That's one way to kind of see it and spot it. Now you might say, are we in a downward trend? Not yet, because now for the downward trend to happen, all these have to be the other way. And I'm going to show you that here in just a second. So as we go ahead and start going here, this is just chop. Don't even bother trading these kinds of things unless you know what you're doing, or you're trading, certain specific strategies. Now, what I want to show you here is a downward trend. What does the downward trend look like? So here we got the other side, the shortest duration here on the bottom, and then it continues to increase and go larger here to the downside. And you can see this is angling to the downside. And this is a downward trend. Now, you could see this in other stocks, like let's go to Zoom here, downward trend. You can see very simple, clean cut, shortest duration to the highest duration, okay? That's a downward trend. Let's look at an upward trend in Zoom right here. Here was the upward trend where all these are stacked. That's the upward trend, okay? Sometimes you'll see the shorter duration cross under here and there, or touch. That's, to me, is a shorter duration. It's not as big of a deal, but most of the other ones should be intact. Once we get into here, there's just a lot of choppiness happening. Probably you want to avoid a lot of that, or be a little more careful and diligent. And then here, what we're starting to set up is a downward trend. So what do you think's happening in this chop? Probably distribution, right? That's what happens. And then here we get the sell-off and the markdown stages that start to come, and so on. And that's where you get this downward movement. So that's how you spot one trend using moving averages. So how do you do it in a different way? I'm going to show you, this is number 2, or technique, or version number 2. And the way to do that is there's a thing called Heikenashi, and they are sometimes spelled, here you go. You can see it. Heikenashi means average bar in Japan. Now, when you look at this, this is really to give you an idea of analyzing kind of a trend, and give you an idea of like, hey, what's going on? How do I visualize this, rather than just looking at the moving averages, looking at kind of the bars specific. And the way this works is you're taking the open, high, low, and close to create the bar. It's not just kind of like the regular bars. So the calculation formula is a little bit different. But what I want to show you here is if we convert this into the Heikenashi here, what you can do is see, hey, look at the bars. They've all of a sudden changed a little bit. And what you can say and look at this is there's more to it than that, but on a simplistic level is, look, if we've got red bars, we're kind of in a downward trend. If we're starting to get green bars, we're kind of in an upward trend. So there's many other ways to do this. You could start going to the 2-day or even a 3-day. and you can start seeing, okay, are we on a downward trend or an upward trend? And what it's doing is it's kind of averaging things just similar to the moving average. It's averaging a little bit more on the price to be able to give you an actual trend visually. Okay, so that's another way of kind of doing it, is through this Heikenashi, and it's just a simple way to just break down the overall trend. You can see you'll still get some different bars within the trend or colors, but it kind of allows you to stay in the trend. You know, if you say, hey, after 3 bars of this, I might get in or I might get out, or after 2 bars of this or that. So that's another way of doing it, is through this Heikenashi. I'll actually give you a third way. So I'm going to go back to candlesticks, and this is one way that I actually do it as well. And let's just go to, let's see, I think I've color coded something along these lines. Here we go. And this is by color coding your bars in certain ways. So in this way, what I've done is color coded based on formula, and I've created a formula here to color the bars now actually white. This is the TC2000 platform. You can get it off my website. This is through Warden. I'm an affiliate for them, but check out the website and you can get, I think, a discount and promotion. But if, let's say, the moving average here is greater than 9, if the 9 moving average is greater than the 21 moving average, I can color code it. So that's another way to kind of spot a trend. You can color code and do different kinds of formulas that you want. I'm going to shift it back to the bars for you so you can see it. It's just, you know, thicker. I like the smaller ones, but now when you see the thicker ones, you can see when it's white, I'm in the trend. These visual clues and cues are very nice to spot, because when you see these things, it allows you to really just hone in and focus in on, hey, we're still in the trend. Visually, boom. Okay, I got it in my mind. Mentally, I'm in the trend. Because trying to really analyze and dissect while you're trading is more difficult mentally and psychologically. So it's nice to just convert your chart to maybe a different color, and then you're staying in the trend, staying in the trend, staying in the trend. And then once that trend is done, you might get out at a certain point. So if I see this trend kind of there, you can now at least put mental thought to it. And again, you could get back into the trend. And again, once you see it crossing or breaking, get out of the trend. So this is kind of a third way of doing it, and kind of making it happen, and seeing, like, look, now if you've combined 2 of the things that I've talked about in the past, where if you see these moving averages with chop, but you see this, well, obviously you don't take the trade because you got chop, even though you've got white candles. Eventually, once you see them all stacked, you know, and then once they're stacked, you might decide to take the trade. So it really just comes down to, you know, how you want to play the game, and what visual clues or indications you want to use within your trading. Anyways, I hope that helps with those 3 methods. They're pretty simple and ways to really spot the trend. Definitely check out our Discord channel. You can sign up. It's free. It's like a chat room, and I can answer some of your questions there, and you know, give you some insight. And if you haven't been to our website, check it out. There's a lot of great classes that we have available, tons on options. I mean, that's the core. And if you really want to learn more about trading properly on the technical analysis side, one of the latest class that we just did on it, it's called Swing Trading Full Circle, but it will apply also for day trading and long-term investing. It's just really all about chart reading. Definitely check this class out. Anyways, thanks again for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the week ahead, and I will see you next time.